part of the journey with OpenPlay has been a real focus on user experience. And we take all of your feedback very carefully, and we spend an abnormal amount of time managing and watching user sessions anonymously to really understand where people are clicking, how they're behaving, so we can augment and tweak OpenPlay to align with those individual needs. One of the areas that we've been really keen on focusing is the ability for us to improve navigation, especially in more complex releases. And in that same vein, also provide some level of visibility as to what is happening and how much is left in terms of cleanup that might need to be done on a release that you're building. This is to eliminate fatigue of, am I done yet type of questions. So what we've been really focused on is, as you are looking at a product and as you're editing a product, we've now added real-time validation remaining tasks. So to complete this release, there are 20 items still needed to be completed or reviewed. And we are now, without having to validate this as an independent step, are now showing you exactly what is needed while you're editing it. So you know exactly where you need to go. If this track on this release is missing elements, we're going to help you through those processes while you are actually working through this operation, as opposed to previously before, where we were having you click the validate button at the release level to recheck the release. This is now a real-time operation. And we're going to continue to improve this even more so that as you continue to build these releases, these validation tasks remaining will go down until the release is ready for submission to your distribution partners or market, depending on how you use OpenPlay today. Further to that, one of the feedbacks that we've had was previously in OpenPlay, we needed you to go back to the release to go to the next track that you're editing. This was something that we've had since the beginning of OpenPlay, but as more releases get more complicated, we wanted to simplify that operation. So now when you're in OpenPlay as at a track within a release, you can easily now hop between tracks on that release. And this, again, makes the editing process faster, simpler, and a lot more intuitive than having to go back to a release and then through the operation of going to the track listing. This is part of our evolution to, again, teach, educate, and simplify OpenPlay as we go. This also includes an overhaul of our tooltip operation. We previously had tooltips kind of independent of the actual fields. We had to enable those tooltips. Now we're moving all of these tooltips directly in to the UI. So as you hover over any one of these areas, you not only know are they required for your distribution needs, but also what they do and how they operate, which we found is a major driver in improving quality of data that's in OpenPlay. The core principle for us is the data quality, given that this is your repertoire, your rights, regardless of what and how you exploit in the market. We want you to always have the most up-to-date version of your own content, and you want it to be as cleansed as possible so you can leverage and take advantage of as many opportunities as you can in order for you to be able to maximize the commercial exploitation of those recordings. So that takes us to some of the additional evolutions. You'll see that some of the things we've really focused on is cleaning up elements of the UI. Associations of releases are very easy to see. So this track that I'm on is associated with these 5 releases. All of this association work is really, again, designed so that you're not having to leave this area or this space in order for you to be able to really maximize and take advantage of the connectedness within OpenPlay. The other area that we started to focus on as well is improving and automating some of the steps that are needed to clean up catalogs. And a lot of that started with being able to generate things that are often missing or not yet in place in a recorded music company. Things like works connected to a recording. Oftentimes when we bring in catalogs, those have to be generated or created because oftentimes we only see the recording, but more and more needs are coming from having the publishing component. A lot of distributors are rightfully requiring a work or a composition to be connected to a recording. And in OpenPlay, we again want to make that process smoother and simpler. So we've created the ability for you to easily create and generate works with ISWCs if you have them, but at least start the framework of the work that can then be expanded with publisher and writer details. But at least the element of the work can now be programmatically connected to all of your recordings. With that, we've also started to focus on a lot of the areas pertaining to the navigation and exporting of data. We wanted your content as a principle at OpenPlay to be always available to be pulled down at any point that you want in terms of access to the DDEX, the XML, anything that, or the Excel files. We want to make sure that at any point in time, you can pull these down. So you'll see navigation elements throughout OpenPlay. So when you're looking at a release, you'll see navigation elements here on the left-hand side that make it easy for you to decide what you want to do with this release, all the way up to creating label copy, which easily allows you to select the fields that you want in OpenPlay to be reflected on this label copy, and it will generate a PDF version of this label copy for you to then share as you need to in the market. This brings in logos and other elements that you might have defined in your manage area. So if you have a logo already uploaded, that logo will then transfer to the PDF that we generate for that label copy. But you could also create other exports, exports on track lists, exports on sometimes if you have access to various things like Word documents. These will allow you to navigate what your environment allows you to pull out. DDEX will export a 3.82 version of DDEX. That's been the most commonly accepted version, though we are going to have 4.0 and above supported as an export option. 3.82 has been the most common that we've been dealing with to date. And I'll talk a bit more about DDEX a little bit later in this session. We've added a lot of DDEX functionality native to OpenPlay that you guys, obviously, we want you to be aware of. We also have made it easy to duplicate content. So once you've created a version of something, we've made it so that you can click duplicate release and easily replicate this version in any other format that needs to be replicated, whether it's a digital format, a physical format. The goal for us is to be able to easily duplicate this content so that you're not re-entering the same information. You're only focused on the elements that are really pertaining to that given release. And the principle you'll see in OpenPlay throughout is that we're very configuration driven. So if it's a CD versus a digital album versus a single, the field sets that you'll see will be automatically attuned and aligned with the configuration needs. So you're not, at any point, you should never have to ignore a field because it doesn't apply here. It's our job at OpenPlay to eliminate that field from your purview when you're working on something that doesn't require it. And a good example of that is the manufacturing experience. This is a physical CD. The only time we expose manufacturing and as a tab is when it's a physical element. And this is where, again, you can now further define ship quantities, the pressing quantities, packaging dimensions, prices, again, all related to physical products. And you'll see this type of operation throughout, whether it's a video product or whether it's a merchandise product. We have different experiences and exposures for those given elements. So the other piece that I want to make sure that we cover is some of the messaging that we've implemented. So we have an active validation system, but we also have warnings that are really in place as guidelines. And some of these warnings are in concert with your distribution partners, where we are mindful of their requirements, and we want to make sure that those requirements are properly conveyed through these warnings. so that you are saving as much time as possible in the interactions with your distribution partners. This includes, potentially industry practices to ensure that your release dates are, in the proper at the proper time. It might also indicate whether there are certain weeks of required submission time for certain configurations, like vinyl. So again, be mindful of warnings. These warnings are there to help you guys through the process. Oftentimes they might be hidden by design, but you can always expand those warnings and see exactly what those warnings are, both at the release level, the track level, and as well as the composition level, if that composition is in place. And again, a lot of these are in concert with your distribution partners that are bringing OpenPlay to your labels. So a lot of these could be different between one environment and the other, but they're all important for you guys to be aware of.